Hi guys, Olive here, coming to you today from a brand new filming location. I moved. May ended up being a much crazier month than I thought it was going to be, although I should probably stop tempting fate by saying that. It seems like every month I say is crazy, the universe says, "Oh really? You thought that was crazy? Just wait until next month." I had my finals at the end of April, and then along came May and we were preparing for our moved at the end of May. I've also been going on job interviews. And then at the very end of this month, there was a little bit of a family issue that I had to go back to my hometown and address a little bit. So as you can probably tell, it was not the best reading month for me, but I still read 4 books, which would have been normal last year for me. So I am excited to talk to you about them. The first book that I completed in May was Sex, Lies, and Handwriting by Michelle Dresbold. This was a nonfiction book about handwriting analysis. Michelle Dresbold is a top expert in the field. I absolutely sped through this book during the beginning of May. I was meant to be reading other things, but just could not put this book down. This book talks about the science behind your handwriting. Obviously, it is more easy to analyze cursive script than it is to read printed script. This book has a ton of handwriting samples, mainly from notable figures and famous people. A lot of different very well-known crimes, well-known criminals are discussed in this book. Dresbold even takes a gander at who she thinks Jack the Ripper was based on handwriting samples. This was a nonfiction book that had me super excited. I was trying to analyze my own handwriting, people that I know's handwriting. There are even exercises in here where Dresbold has you write down something and then analyze your own handwriting. So if you read this one, definitely keep a pen or pencil and a pad of paper next to you so that you can participate in all of those things. This was a lot of fun. It was illuminating. I will never look at a signature the same way again. The next book I read I did not have so much fun with, and that was The Almond Picker by Simonetta Agnello Hornby. This was translated from the Italian by Alastair McEwen, and I buddy read this with Liz from Now Voyaging. This book is marketed as a mystery. I thought it was going to be a mystery when I went into this book. It is about a woman who was a former servant of a very wealthy family in Sicily. She becomes very important to the family in that she starts managing their estate after the patriarch dies. She was rumored to be very wealthy when she died. People really don't know where she got her money from or where she got the authority over this family that she used to serve as a maid. There are also rumors that she's affiliated with the mob. Her life was kind of mysterious, and so this book was pitched as, what was she really into? Who was she really? But it ended up being more of just an examination of this small town in Sicily. You got the points of view of many different people in this Sicilian town. It really gave you more of a feel of the dynamics between people in the town than you got of Menulara, who was the almond picker, this former maid. This book was really frustrating because I kept waiting for it to pick up. At a certain point, I kind of gave up that it wasn't going to meet my expectations of what kind of book it was going to be. But then I was just getting really bored with all of the different perspectives of everybody who ended up not being important later on in the book. You never really heard from Menulara. We never really got a clear picture of who she was as a person. There's also some iffy content, which I can't really go into without spoiling things from the book. But oh, I wish I could rant about it. However, Liz and I did do our fair share of ranting over this book on Voxer. This was one that I was really looking forward to giving a try since I don't think I've ever read anything translated from Italian, and I certainly wanted to learn more about Sicily, but it really just did not meet my expectations. Gave it 2 stars, would not recommend. Then you probably already know I finished Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix for my series A Grown Woman Reads Harry Potter. I posted a whole video on this book. I will link it down below if you'd like to watch. Then I read The Language of Flowers by Vanessa Diffenbaugh. I read this for an in real life book club that I unfortunately was not able to attend because of our move. The person who hosted the book club this month is actually a friend of mine. She says that I recommended this book to her. I don't remember doing that, but it definitely sounds like me. I read this book on ebook and I actually ended up really enjoying it. I had no idea how I was going to feel about it. It is about a girl who spent her entire life in foster care. Then when she turns 18, she ages out of the system and goes out into the real world. She has a real love of flowers and the traditional Victorian meanings behind flowers. She learned these with a former foster mother of hers. Things went wrong, so you're jumping back and forth between her current life working in a flower shop and flashbacks of her life living with this foster mother. The meanings behind these flowers are not just an abstract kind of thing. They have a real, sincere place within the story. And of course, you learn what all those meanings are. I also really appreciate that they didn't use the metaphor of an orphan finding her meaning as opening up like a blossom of a flower. That would have really annoyed me. The emotional limits of the main character, being that she did grow up in a very difficult situation being a foster child, they really had a place within the story, and I'm really glad that that was not glazed over. This book definitely took me by surprise. I had a very visceral emotional reaction to it that I was not anticipating. It's not the best book I ever read, but I found myself really wanting to go back to it every time I had to put it down, and I kept returning to it even when we were in the middle of a move. So I'm very impressed with the book because of that. Definitely would recommend this one. Now on to what I am currently reading. I am not currently reading East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I did not finish it, and I just lost momentum with everything going on. Given that it's a classic and one that I really want to appreciate fully, I want to return to it at a point when I'm more in the mood for it. I have not given up on The Romanovs, the final chapter by Robert K. Massey. This is still an author profile I want to do, so I will be finishing this one this month. I'm also still plugging my way through The Ecliptic by Benjamin Wood. And then I am listening to an audiobook right now. It is called The Soul of an Octopus, a surprising exploration into the wonder of consciousness by Cy Montgomery. This is a nonfiction book, kind of a micro-history, all about the octopus. I am so enjoying this one right now. I cannot wait to talk about it in my June wrap-up. I'm also starting a buddy read with Steve over at Steve Reads. We will be reading A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray, which is actually the first in the Gemma Doyle series. And then the rest of the books I'm planning to read in June are as follows. I, of course, will be reading the 6th Harry Potter book, The Half-Blood Prince, for my ongoing series. I thought a fast-paced book would get me back to the swing of things, so I'll be reading The Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. I really liked Bittersweet by Miranda Beverly Whitmore a few years back, and she has a new book this month that is very appropriately titled June. I've sampled the first chapter of this book. It's about a girl who's living in her grandmother's dilapidated old mansion when she finds out that she has inherited a large sum of money from a former movie star. She never knew this man personally, but it is rumored that he knew her grandmother, June. So it seems like the book is an exploration into her grandmother's past and how it is affecting her present. Given that I've really enjoyed another of Miranda Beverly Whitmore's books, I'm really excited for this one. True to my word last year, I will be reading We the Drowned by Karsten Jensen. I got this book from a Books and Bloggers book swap in September of last year. This was a book off of my wish list that Kaylee from Chair in the Shade selected for me for that swap, and I said that it seemed extremely appropriate for the summer and that I would be picking it up in the summer. So I'm going to do that. I'll post a link to that video if you want to see me unboxing the rest of her selections for me. Also, it was a desire of mine to reread some books this year. I have not yet done so, but a few years ago I read The Rules of Civility by Amor Towles during the summer on audiobook, on a road trip, and so this book just gives me such summery feelings, and I really would like to revisit that. So those are the books I read in May, what I'm currently reading, and what I'm reading for June. If you've read any of these or heard about any of them or would just like to discuss something with me, you can of course leave it in the comments section below. If you'd like to reach me anywhere else on social media, all the links are down in the description box below. I hope you're having a great June so far. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.